From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Ann Makovic, and we are talking about protests going on around the country today. People demonstrating against some of the turbulent moves being made by the Trump administration. Students from Oakland High School walking out today for what is being called a day of action for immigrant rights. The protests began at around 10 this morning on MacArthur Boulevard. This was our chopper view from above. Students rallying against the federal ICE raids and deportations. You can see them walking down the street there this morning, blocking traffic in some spots. One of the marchers was Jackson Benavides, who told us for him, immigrant rights are personal.
It's for my parents. They brought me here. They just want something better for me.
Against the firings of hundreds of staffers from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. About 800 workers there were fired, an official telling CBS News that those layoffs totaled about 5% of the agency's staff. And this was the scene outside the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau today. Union workers rallying after they say the Trump administration ordered all of them to stop nearly all of their work, effectively shutting down the agency. Coming up in a bit, we are going to speak with CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, on some of the recent polling numbers for the president to get a wider perspective there. But right now, a high surf advisory is in effect along Bay Area shorelines. That is going on through 9 o'clock tonight. A small craft advisory is also in effect. These are the waves seen earlier at San Francisco's Ocean Beach this morning. The waves could reach about 20 feet with dangerous sneaker waves and rip currents. Just yesterday, a man was killed in Sonoma County after being swept into the sea. The sheriff's office says he was standing on rocks when a wave crashed down, pulling him into the ocean. This was in the area of Crystal Cove, just north of Jenner. A second person was also swept away, but was rescued. Taking a live look outside now, we are starting off the week with plenty of sunshine, but apparently there are more rain chances ahead as we head into our first full week of March. Meteorologist Jessica Birch has a look at her forecast.
It's another dry day for us here in the Bay Area with daytime highs today topping off in the mid-50s, at least near San Francisco or all the way over into Oakland, with mid-50s in the forecast up into wine country too. You head all the way over into the East Bay or the Santa Clara Valley. Notice how it doesn't matter where you live in the Bay today. We're pretty much all hand in hand with these daytime highs, right where we should be for this time of year. And keep in mind too, it's only about 5 days ago. Remember when we were talking about 70s and 80s in the forecast? Yeah, that's a thing of the past now. Now what we're dealing with is a lot of unsettled weather as we head into this week's forecast. Cloudy skies for us today. A light splash of showers possible as the system starts to decay over us as we head into our Tuesday afternoon forecast. Watch what happens as we head all the way into Tuesday evening, early Wednesday morning. Another batch of showers just to the south sweeps throughout the South Bay, mostly impacting areas closer to Monterey. And then that same system brings in snow to the Sierra. So keep that in mind as we head into this weekend's forecast. Fresh powder right around the corner. We head into our Wednesday evening forecast, and now we're talking about more unsettled weather sweeping in from the north. So taking a look at this day by day, we do still have rain in the forecast until around Thursday. That tapers off as we head into Friday and Saturday with another chance of showers heading into this weekend. So we'll keep you updated with this day by day, but those rainfall totals, they shouldn't add up to much. But as we head into this weekend, that could look a lot different.
Well, the clock is ticking toward President Trump's tariffs set to take effect tomorrow. Mexico says it is waiting to see if the Trump administration actually follows through with a 25% tariff against goods from Mexico. Canada also getting slapped with a 25% tariff and a lesser 10% charge on its energy exports. Another 10% will be added to the universal tariff on goods from China. Economists say these tariffs could hit especially hard here in California, since our economy relies heavily on imported goods. Suji Nam spoke with one small business owner in the Bay Area who's worried about having to pass on the costs to his customers.
Jeff Leopold is the owner of Standard 5 and 10 Ace Hardware in San Francisco. The business has been operating since 1939. being a source for neighbors when they need tools and hardware parts. But with President Donald Trump imposing a 10% tariff on goods coming in from China,
made in China,
Jeff worries about the future of his business.
You work off of a very slim margin, and you can't just take a 10% hit on 2,000 SKUs as the example that I use.
While the business runs independently of Ace Hardware, he buys inventory from the company, who has already begun price increases. He says the increased overhead will ultimately have to come at a cost to customers.
You take a light bulb that's at $9.99 and bring it over $10, there's a little bit of a consumer resistance, like why am I paying $11 now for a light bulb?
Cal State East Bay economics professor Farhad Sabitan says California will especially face the burden of these tariffs.
We import about almost $500 billion of goods from other countries. Of that, China is the top of the chart. In other words, California is a top importer from Chinese good. That's about 25% of all the imports.
And raising prices could mean less business.
People actually buy less because items become more expensive.
While the store does carry many American-made products, he says it's not always easy.
You can't always get the products you want that are made in the USA.
Jeff hopes customer service and inventory keep people coming in.
A bolt, like we were in the fastener aisle, you're not going to order that online. You want to go touch it and feel it.
One of many small business owners working to keep his business afloat.
Yeah.
Well, joining us now, CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto. Thanks for being with us. I know you have some new CBS News polling results. If we can talk first about how people are feeling about President Trump's priorities. He's made them pretty clear how he's changing government right now.
How you doing, Ann? And yes, let's take a look at what is really a gap between what they see as his priorities and what they're looking for him to address. So you start with this. We asked what should be a high priority for the Trump administration. And maybe no surprise if you followed the recent elections and the polls, the economy and inflation pop. Big majorities say those should be priorities. Yes, a lot say other things too, like government spending, etc. But then we ask, okay, what do you think he is making a high priority, prioritizing a lot? And that is a little bit different because now that economy is all the way down here with a far smaller percentage, just 36%, saying they think the administration is making the economy a top priority and inflation even lower than that. So that's what I mean when I talk about that disconnect. Now, some of these other topics, the border, for instance, those are things that are accruing to the president well. He gets approval for that, but that difference between people's desire to see the economy be a top priority and what they perceive is sitting there as a big gap there.
Okay, and it certainly seems like cutting the federal workforce has been a huge priority, at least with Elon Musk. Are we seeing potential impacts from those changes, and what are people's feelings about that?
Yeah, they see a lot of potential impacts. The country divides on that. Democrats more disapproving, Republicans more approving of those cuts. But look at the big differences in what people think will happen. Republicans think that's going to remove unnecessary jobs, that's going to make those agencies work better. But Democrats, in contrast, saying, well, no, that's going to remove essential workers, that's going to impact their local area. I think there's a lot of uncertainty about this. It's the way I read all these numbers, but certainly big partisan differences on what they see going forward. And
certainly. All right. Interesting insight. CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto. Always good to see you. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. Dozens of RV dwellers at a safe parking site in San Francisco getting the boot. The tough decisions that these people are now facing. Plus, as the world's biggest tech shows get underway, concern about how trade tensions here in the U.S. could impact innovation. And let's take a live look outside before we head to break. Not a lot of controversy there. Another gorgeous day around the Bay. Have another check in your weather when we come back. All right, so we got two sides of the coin in this situation. A new RV safe parking site is opening up today in San Jose. That's on Berryessa Road. But in San Francisco, a much different situation. Dozens of people who've been living at a safe parking site are being forced to move out today. They're facing two choices from the city, either accept alternate housing or move their vehicles by today. This is happening at what was once Candlestick Park in the city's Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood. Our Amanda Harry found that plenty of people don't know what to do next.
Here's the hoarder.
In the last few months, the people who live at the San Francisco Bayview Vehicle Triage Center say their lives have been turned upside down.
100%. I mean, total. Like an earthquake.
Aaron Wilson was noticeably emotional when he described the stress he's been under. He's lived at the safe parking site since March 2024. The city announced the closure in December. It was shortly after officials finally managed to connect reliable power, nearly 3 years after opening. A 2023 budget analysis report estimates the cost per vehicle at the site to be about $140,000 per year. Emily Cohen with the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing explained to Bay City News why they're shutting down the facility, citing costly infrastructure issues, lease renewal issues, and difficulties understanding the best way to serve people living in their vehicles. She said, quote, "I think that's what government is supposed to do. If something's not working, you're supposed to end it and move on. Like, we don't want to just keep doing something that has demonstrated that it's not working." The people living in their vehicles have been offered housing. Not all of them have accepted, but Wilson did. Still, he doesn't know what to do with his RV.
I asked for a tow, and they denied it to me. Bayview Hunters Point Foundation, this is the so-called caseworkers. They said, no, we're not giving it to you. You have to figure it out yourself.
If he doesn't, it may be towed to an impound lot. When he moved into the triage center nearly a year ago, he was told the HSH would provide services to fix his vehicle and get him back on his feet. He claims they never did what they promised. He says many of the other vehicles at the site are in similar states of disrepair and can't be moved. Wilson has started a GoFundMe to try to get his vehicle moved and fixed so he can potentially sell it.
I'm going to have to find a place for the vehicle in the interim, whatever I'm going to do with it. I have to get it registered, and then I can have it for sale, right? And in that time, I got to hope it doesn't get broken into, that's why they call it safe parking. It's like break-ins to RVs that people are living in are very common in San Francisco, okay? It's almost assured. So it's and of course, if you leave and they've been watching it, you're opening yourself up.
Everything he owns is inside his RV, and the same is true for many of the others. He also has several cats, and he won't be able to bring them all to his new housing. He hopes to find a way to keep them safe too.
And I don't want to lose any of them.
Well, from what people who currently live there understand, if they don't get their vehicles out today, they might be towed tomorrow. We asked the city if there's any update on the situation and if people would be able to get help with moving any broken down vehicles. We have not yet heard back. We are kicking off Women's History Month, a time to honor and highlight the contributions of women across the country. And today we are stepping into the world of virtual reality, introducing you to a Bay Area native who uses technology and innovation to make women and others safer.
Nobody would invest in it because they're like, oh, it's safety. It's not very sexy. It's not very cool. And so I really had to gamble on myself.
Pam Isom is the president and CEO of ICE Safety Solutions, which prepares companies for emergencies, providing them and their employees with life-saving training. You can hear her story tonight at 5 p.m. right here on KPIX. Back to our first alert weather, taking a live look outside. A really nice day around the Bay. You can take a live look there at the Bay Bridge, where traffic is moving smoothly. Let's check back in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
It's another beautiful day for us here in the Bay Area as we're gearing up for daytime highs, only topping off really in the upper 50s, anywhere from Concord over into San Francisco. It's a nice day for us today up in wine country in the mid to low 50s from Napa all the way over into Vallejo. You make your way down into the Santa Clara Valley. There's small day-to-day changes for us as we head into this week's forecast, widespread throughout the Bay Area for these daytime highs. Another thing to mention too, you head along the coast, there's still a small craft advisory in effect, but that high surf warning has expired and we continue to keep a close eye on the conditions along the beach as we head into the afternoon hours today. We are going to get gustier winds along the shoreline as we head into this afternoon. Wind gusts anywhere up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour are expected from Bodega Bay all the way down into Half Moon Bay, closer to around dinner time, but it does die down as we head into our forecasted hours tomorrow. And as we fast forward the clock all the way into tomorrow, we're seeing cloudy skies widespread throughout the Bay Area with a light splash of showers as we head into our Tuesday morning forecast, mostly along that coastline that tries making its way inland. We head into Tuesday evening. Watch the system just to the south, closer to Monterey, sweep its way into the South Bay just barely as we head into early Wednesday morning forecasted hours. And then as we head all the way into Wednesday evening, another round of rain comes in from the north. What I'm trying to get at right now is we see a lot of on and off showers for us as we head into the forecasted hours this week. We are going to keep you updated with this unsettled weather pattern, but we will catch a break as we head into Friday before another splash of showers comes in later this weekend. Timing this out day by day, notice how our daytime highs pretty much stick in the upper 50s and lower 60s, at least along the bay as we head into this weekend. There's that light at the end of the tunnel for Friday that we're going to see with sunny skies in the forecast, cloudier skies by Saturday, and then another batch of rain coming in as we head into our Sunday forecast. You make your way over into our inland spots. It looks very similar, but our inland areas are going to warm up significantly more as we dive into this weekend with upper 50s by Thursday, upper 60s by Friday heading into Saturday. We'll keep you updated on those rainfall totals also. For now, back to you.
One of the world's biggest tech shows is now underway with a lot of excitement over the potential of AI, then clashing with concerns over trade tensions fueled by the United States. The annual Mobile World Congress in Spain kicking off today with fresh U.S. tariffs looming, including that additional 10% tax on Chinese goods. The event draws thousands of exhibitors, many of them from China, demonstrating new products from entertainment to health to wearable tech. Also on display, the intense competition in the smartphone industry, with 1.4 billion devices expected to be sold globally this year. That is 44 every second. That is it for the afternoon edition. Remember, we are streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app. Just go to Live and then Bay Area. Have a great Monday afternoon.